Good morning. We're going to continue learning about Ahimsa, which is nonviolence, from the Yamas and Niyamas by Deborah Adele. Creating balance. Courage demands our best self, and that is a self in balance. Think about the times you were short with others because of too much work to do, or too much caffeine and sugar, or a restless night of sleep. Imbalance in our systems is almost a certainty for violence, as the dis-ease we feel within finds its way to expression outwards. Balance creates harmony within us, and harmony within naturally expresses itself in external actions that are harmonious. Dr. Phil Nernberger emphasizes the importance of balance when he says, "The deep harmony of balance is my most precious commodity, and I guard it fiercely." Creating balance in our lives is not an easy thing. We are a hungry, noisy people, bombarded with stimulation and advertisements that promise to grant us our deepest desires. If we are not on purpose with creating balance for ourselves, we can easily fall victim to false promises and fill every breathable space with appointments and activities and all the responsibilities that go with a full agenda. It is anti-cultural to claim any space that is simply space, or to move with any kind of lingering, or to take time for closure. We are bombarded as we bombard ourselves, and if we have any doubts, our calendars will reveal the truth of our craziness. The repercussions are inescapable, immeasurable violence to ourselves and those around us. Like the body, the mind and soul need time to digest and assimilate. Like the body, the mind and soul need time to rest. We create this rest by allowing space that we can breathe in. Not more clutter, but more space. Space to reflect, space to journal, space for closure, space for imagination, and space to feel the calling of the life force within us. Balance does not look a certain way because it isn't a set standard to impose upon ourselves. It isn't something we can schedule or plan. Balance instead comes from listening to the guidance and wisdom of the inner voice. Balance will look different in each of us, and even different in each of us at different times. To be in tune with ourselves, we must get quiet and listen, and then heed this inner voice. This voice does not push or bombard or make promises. This inner wisdom simply knows that we need to be vital, healthy, and in deep harmony. My sons and their children love the board game Risk. It's a game where all the players begin with armies, which they strategically place in various countries around the world, and then try to conquer the world with their armies. It's a game of strategy and skill and can be played into the wee hours of the night. What's interesting to me is that my grandchildren, in playing this game, have learned something important about balance. One of my grandchildren put it this way: "When you see someone's army spread all over the world, it looks so impressive. Dad always starts by putting all his armies in 4 countries in a corner. It looks like no one will ever have to worry about him. But as the game gets played, the person who has spread their armies too thin is always the first to lose, and Dad always wins." Balance is like this. Spreading ourselves thin looks impressive, but in the end, we are the first to lose. The health and well-being of our body, mind, and spirit is a powerful resource, and by keeping ourselves in balance, we can stride through life with greater competence and ease. We are primed to win as we meet life from an inner place of harmony. When we are in balance, we automatically live in non-violence. Dealing with powerlessness. One of the biggest challenges to maintaining balance is feeling powerless. Feeling powerless leads to outward aggression in the form of frustration and anger, or withdrawal inward into depression and victimization. We fear our own power, and we often feel trapped at our sense of powerlessness. By powerless, I mean those times we feel like we've run out of choices, we've run out of options, and we're feeling totally incompetent to deal with the challenge at hand. At these times, we may feel like a caged animal, trapped and ready to spring. Whether we respond with anger, withdrawal, frustration, or resignation, there is a way in which our mind shuts down, as if we are riding a train through a dark tunnel and we can't see anything but darkness and anxiety. Ahimsa, or nonviolence, invites us to question the feeling of powerlessness rather than accept it. When we feel powerless, we've forgotten how much choice we really have. We have a choice to take action. We have a choice to change the story we're telling ourselves about our powerlessness. Instead of sulking in the feeling of powerlessness, we can ask, what do I need to do right now to feel competent to handle this situation? During these times, we can also jumpstart ourselves by remembering past times when we successfully handled a challenging situation while remaining loving and whole, and then trying to find the feeling again. I have found 3 ways of thinking that shift me out of a feeling of powerlessness: practicing gratitude, trust in the moment, and thinking about others. When I change my approach, I'm out of the dark tunnel of powerlessness. Suddenly, in the light, I see many options. For instance, if my car breaks down at an inconvenient time, I can choose to be grateful that I am safe and have my cell phone. I can choose one of many options for support for towing and fixing my car. I can turn the whole situation into an adventure by perhaps riding the bus for the first time in years or calling an old friend for a lift and trusting that somehow all is well. Often we carry a sense of powerlessness from a childhood story. Perhaps at one time in our lives the story was true, but it probably isn't true anymore. I do many private consultations with people who are feeling powerlessness from believing an old story that they have continued to accept is true. I've come to believe that any sense of powerlessness we are feeling can be traced back to the story we're telling ourselves in the moment about the situation. We all have the choice to tell a different story and grow ourselves up to take responsibility for our lives in a new and fresh way. Situations where we feel powerless can also be opportunities to grow our skill level with life. I find my powerless issues arise with technology and mechanics. When things break down, my feelings of powerlessness can become a violent outburst or an opportunity to learn something new. I often ponder the words of Yogaraj Akala. I excite myself with my I excite myself with my incompetencies. Yeah. With this attitude, feelings of powerlessness become opportunities to become competent rather than violent. Have a great day, guys. And I hope you have the opportunity to practice nonviolence to yourself today. Love you.